Hello everyone, welcome to the Cine Revel. Today I'll be explaining 2020 action thriller film The Honest Thief. As always, spoiler alert, watch out and take care. The movies start with a bank robbery, reminiscent of a money heist in an alternative timeline. Our main character, Tom Dolan, robs a bank as a newscaster voice announces that he has stolen $9 million from various banks. The police are struggling to find him because he leaves no clues, earning him the nickname In-N-Out Bandit. After a brief introduction, the pilot shifts to Tom visiting the self-storage office because he can't keep the stolen money in the bank. He needs a storage unit to hide the cash. Soon, Annie Wilkins, a lovely lady, enters the office disguised as a client because Tom is behind the desk. Annie has a good sense of humor and oversees the office, yes, pretends to be there to rent a storage room. Tom is given a space, and the film jumps to a year later. Tom breaks into a house and shows it to Annie, and it becomes clear that they've been loved since their first meeting. Now, Tom is looking forward to Annie moving in with him. Annie is over the moon with joy as she rejoices. Tom tries to tell her that he is a bank robber, but before he can say anything, she stops him. The film expands and focuses on two FBI colleagues and best friends, Sean Myers and Samuel Baker. Meanwhile, Tom has stopped robbing banks after falling in love with Annie, and now he feels guilty. After much contemplation, he decides to surrender and calls Baker. He bluntly confesses to his crimes and demands enough relief to see Annie when she wants to visit. At first, Baker doesn't believe that he's the In-N-Out Bandit because they've received dozens of calls lately from people making false confessions. It's strange. Like, why would someone confess to a crime they didn't commit? Baker asks about Tom's whereabouts and warns him that they will be coming for him if he is indeed the In-N-Out Bandit. Baker assigns two FBI agents, Ramon Hall and John Nivens, to Tom's case, and the duo arrives at his doorstep the following day. They investigate Tom, but don't believe him. However, before they leave, Tom gives them a key and directs them to the self-storage room where he has hidden the money. The main plot of the movie begins when Ramon and John arrive at the self-storage unit and start looking for the stolen money while discussing Tom's change of heart. Although they find the money, they still doubt Tom's confession. However, John gets greedy and suggests that they steal the money from Tom and frame him as a sociopath like the others who falsely confess to being the In-N-Out Bandit. Ramon initially refuses, but John convinces him that the money belongs to no one and he cannot earn such a sum of money with his salary. The duo carries out their plan, moving the boxes of money into the trunk of their car. However, Annie walks in on them, having seen them in Tom's storage unit. John and Ramon pretend to be Tom's friends, and surprisingly, Annie believes them. They stop at an abandoned house to hide the money before returning to Tom's apartment. It's clear at this point that John wants to kill Tom, but before he does, Tom tells him that they haven't counted the money and that he had to hide $6 million in case something worse happened. John asks for the remaining money, but before he can get Tom to talk, Baker steps in completely unaware of the situation. Tom helps him understand John's intentions, but before Baker can do anything, John kills him. It is clearly depicted that Baker's debt will be pinned on Tom, so Tom decides to escape, and when he does, he jumps from the window, taking John with him. The action reaches its most unfortunate moment as Andy is visiting Tom. Tom and Andy run off in a Jeep, and a big chase begins between them and John. At this point, Annie has no idea why Tom is being chased, so he tells her the truth, which stuns her, at least for an instant. The next moment, Tom and Annie ditch their car and escape by stealing another one. After escaping the chase, Annie begs Tom to stop and demands an explanation about all the robberies. Tom tells her that his father was a laborer, and after his retirement, his boss refused to give his father a pension. After his father's death, Tom robbed the bank where his father's boss kept his money. He got into robbing banks because it gave him a sense of danger that was essential to his livelihood. But he got that same feeling after meeting Annie, so he stopped robbing banks for her sake and decided to surrender. However, now John's dirty plan has brought him back into the darkness. In contrast, Myers accompanies John and Ramon to the crime scene to investigate. During their investigation, John and Ramon inform Myers that Tom is not a criminal and does not have any money, contradicting Tom's claim of being the In-N-Out Bandit. Mayer is confused by this point because why will Tom kill Baker if he's not a criminal? He doesn't give this any thought, and as he goes through his friend's grief, he orders John and Ramon to go after Tom. Knowing that the FBI will relentlessly pursue him until he is either caught or killed, Tom decides to leave Annie and advises her to contact the FBI, claiming that he has taken her hostage. However, Annie refuses to cooperate and is unwilling to make it harder for Tom. As a result, Tom takes Annie to the bus station and urges her to leave town until he can prove his innocence. Mayors request a comprehensive briefing on Tom and Annie, and upon reviewing their file, directs his team to investigate Annie. Later, Tom receives a call from Annie, who claims to have found proof of his innocence. She informs him that she is retrieving CCTV footage of John and Ramon stealing his money from her office. Tom recognizes that the evidence could prove his innocence, but he also knows that the FBI will likely pursue Annie at the same location, instructs her to leave the premise immediately. In the next scene, John visits Annie and demands that she hand over the money Tom is hiding. When Annie refuses, John notices that the CCTV screen and demands the footage. Annie attempts to flee, but John prevents her from leaving, resulting in a physical altercation during which John slams Annie's head into a desk. Ramon then arrives and pronounces Annie dead. Shortly thereafter, Tom discovers Annie's lifeless body on the floor of her office. He rushes her to hospital and, consumed by desire for revenge, contacts the FBI and confronts John about his deceitful actions. John denies any wrongdoing, and Myers listens in on the conversation. Tom warns John to prepare for his reckoning. Later, Myers locates Tom and a physical altercation ensues. Despite Myers' attempt to persuade him to surrender, if he is innocent, Tom refuses, insisting that he has tried the right way before, and now he will do things his way. Tom asserts he's innocent, and claims that John is the one who stole the $3 million. Later that night, Tom contacts the hospital to inquire about Annie's condition. To his relief, she has survived, fueling his determination to avenge her. Tom covertly enters Ramon's residence and persuades him into revealing John's plans. Given his guilt over the situation, Ramon agrees to cooperate with Tom. He discloses that John intends to target Annie at the hospital and urges Tom to evacuate her. Additionally, Ramon gives Tom the memory card that he had previously concealed in Annie's office. Tom successfully extracts Annie from the hospital, stopping John's attempt to harm her afterward. Tom goes shopping and develops a plan to corner John and force him to confess to his misdeeds. He purchases explosives and crate bombs for this purpose. The next day, Tom and Annie visit John's home, and Tom confronts him about his misdeeds. Despite John's usual tactics, Tom gains the advantage. This time he orders John to flee the scene before he counts to 10. Suspicious of Tom's intentions, John rushes outside, and the house explodes. In a panic, John seeks out the location where he had hidden the stolen money and contacts Ramon to inform him of the situation. Undisclosed to John, Ramon is already aware of the truth and pretends surprise while assuring John that he will be there shortly. Myers pays Annie a visit to the self-storage unit. She tells him that Tom is a good guy and that he is innocent. To prove his innocence, she gives him a gesture of the remaining $6 million. Myers begins to believe in Tom and decides to let him play the way he wants. Soon after, Ramon knocks on the door, but he has been taken hostage by Tom. Tom sneaks into the scene and tells John that Ramon is on his side. After hearing this, John and Ramon get into a fight, and during the conversation, John spits it all out. John kills Ramon and flees the scene. Tom gets close to Ramon's corpse and gets his radio, which has recorded John's confession. Tom then calls John and tells him that he has installed a bomb in his car that is sensitive to gravity. This means that John cannot escape from the car, and the only option he has to do is wait for the bomb disposal team and the FBI team to arrive and see him with the money. John is left with no other choice, as a bomb disposal team soon arrives to detonate the bomb. After it's detonated, Myers orders his arrest. Later at his office, Myers finds an envelope containing John's confession. He goes outside and sees Annie waiting for him. She gives him the CCTV footage, and the two pieces of evidence are enough to prove Tom's innocence. Tom calls Myers, and to everyone's surprise, Myers offers him a job. He tells Tom that he is impressed by his skills and his courage and would like to have him on the team. In the concluding scene, Myers tells Tom that Annie is a very special woman, and the two men share a moment of mutual respect. The film ends as Tom and Annie celebrate their success. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for even more videos just like this. And if you have a movie you'd like us to recap, let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next time. Take care.